In international women's soccer, no national team has shaped the modern game quite like the United States women's national soccer team. Known around the world as the USWNT, and recognized by FIFA simply as USA, the team represents the United States on the biggest stages in women's football. Its story is not just about trophies, although there are plenty of those. It is also about building a winning culture, raising expectations for women's sports, and becoming a global symbol of excellence and pressure. For decades, when major tournaments began, the United States was not just another contender. It was often the standard every other nation measured itself against. To understand the USWNT is to understand how one team became both a sporting powerhouse and a cultural force. The USWNT is governed by the United States Soccer Federation, the same national body responsible for organizing and overseeing soccer in the country. Internationally, the team competes within CONCACAF, the confederation covering North America, Central America, and the Caribbean. That regional context matters. Before a team can dominate the world, it usually has to dominate its neighborhood, and the United States has done that with remarkable consistency. Through CONCACAF competitions, World Cup qualifying, Olympic qualifying, and regional championships, the team built a foundation of competitive experience. These matches created expectations. The US was supposed to qualify, supposed to contend, and often supposed to win. That constant pressure became part of the team's identity. The clearest measure of the USWNT's success is its trophy cabinet. The team has won 4 Women's World Cup titles, capturing the tournament in 1991, 1999, 2015, and 2019. Those victories span different generations, different tactical eras, and very different stages of women's soccer's global growth. Winning once can be the result of a golden generation. Winning across decades suggests something deeper, a system capable of producing elite players again and again. The 1991 title established the United States as an early leader in the women's game. The 1999 victory turned the team into a mainstream American sports phenomenon. The 2015 and 2019 titles proved the program could remain elite even as the rest of the world invested more heavily in women's soccer. The 1999 Women's World Cup is especially important in the USWNT story because it changed the way many people viewed women's soccer in the United States. The tournament was hosted on American soil, played in major stadiums, and culminated in a dramatic final that became one of the most iconic moments in American sports history. But its impact went beyond one match. It showed that women's soccer could draw huge crowds, national attention, and emotional investment. Sports Illustrated later selected the entire 1999 team as its Sportswomen of the Year, using its traditional Sportsman of the Year honor to recognize the group. That recognition reflected something bigger than athletic achievement. The team had become a symbol of possibility. The Olympics have been another major stage for U.S. dominance. The USWNT has won 5 Olympic gold medals, in 1996, 2004, 2008, 2012, and 2024. Olympic soccer is different from the World Cup because it operates within a larger multi-sport spectacle, where athletes become part of a national delegation and medals carry enormous symbolic weight. For the United States, Olympic success helped keep the team in the public eye between World Cups. The 1996 gold, won when women's soccer was introduced as an Olympic event, reinforced the program's early leadership. Later gold medals confirmed that the team could handle short, high-pressure tournaments where one bad game could end the dream. At the regional level, the USWNT has been just as imposing. The team has won 9 CONCACAF W Championship titles and 1 CONCACAF W Gold Cup title. These competitions are sometimes less visible to casual fans than the World Cup or Olympics, but they are essential to the team's overall dominance. Regional tournaments test depth, consistency, and professionalism. They also determine qualification pathways and help maintain competitive rhythm. For the U.S., these events have often served as proving grounds for new players, tactical adjustments, and roster transitions. Dominating CONCACAF has allowed the team to enter global tournaments with confidence, but it has also created a challenge. When winning becomes expected, anything less can feel like failure. One reason the USWNT's record stands out is not just how often it has won, but how rarely it has missed the podium. The team has medaled in every Women's World Cup and Olympic women's soccer tournament except two, the 2016 Olympic tournament and the 2023 Women's World Cup. That kind of consistency is almost unheard of in international team sports. Major tournaments are unpredictable. Injuries, form, tactics, refereeing decisions, and penalty shootouts can all change history in minutes. Yet for most of its existence, the US found ways to survive those moments. Whether through physical intensity, set pieces, elite goalkeeping, or late-game resilience, the team developed a reputation for being hardest to beat when the stakes were highest. The exceptions to that dominance are revealing. In both 2016 and 2023, the United States was eliminated by Sweden after a penalty shootout in the first knockout round. Penalty shootouts are among the cruelest endings in soccer because they compress an entire tournament into isolated moments of technique and nerve. But those defeats also reflected how much the global game had changed. Other countries had improved their player development, professional leagues, tactical sophistication, and investment in women's football. The USWNT was still elite, but it was no longer operating in a world where its athleticism and depth alone could overwhelm opponents. These setbacks forced a difficult question: how does a dynasty evolve when everyone else catches up? The FIFA Women's World Rankings help show just how long the United States stayed near the top. After rankings were established in 2003, the team spent much of the early period ranked second, then moved into a remarkable run at number 1 from March 2008 to November 2014. That was the longest consecutive top ranking of any team. In total, the USWNT has been ranked number 1 for 13 years, far longer than any rival listed in the article, with Germany next at 4.5 years. Even more striking, the United States has never been ranked lower than 5th in the world. Rankings are not perfect, but over time they reveal sustained excellence, and few teams in any sport can match that level of consistency. The team's success also brought institutional recognition. The U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee selected the USWNT as Team of the Year in 1997 and 1999, acknowledging not only results but influence. These honors matter because they place the team within the broader landscape of American sports, alongside Olympic champions, professional dynasties, and national icons. For women's soccer, recognition was never automatic. Players had to win repeatedly, draw audiences, and prove that their sport deserved attention. The USWNT did all three. Its achievements helped push women's soccer further into mainstream conversation and inspired younger players who could see a visible pathway from youth soccer fields to global stadiums. But the USWNT's legacy is not only about what happened on the field. The team also became central to one of the most important labor and equality battles in modern sports. On April 5, 2017, players and the U.S. Soccer Federation reached a new collective bargaining agreement that included a pay increase. That agreement came after years of public discussion about compensation, working conditions, and the value of women's national team players. The issue was complicated by different pay structures and tournament prize money, but the broader question was simple and powerful: should players representing the same country receive equal treatment for equal work at the national team level? In February 2022, that fight reached a historic milestone. Numerous current and former USWNT players settled a lawsuit with U.S. Soccer for $24 million, along with a requirement that male and female soccer players be paid equally regardless of the proportion of prize money they receive. According to the article, this was the first instance of that standard in the world. The settlement did not erase the wider global imbalance, because FIFA still distributes significantly more funds to member associations for the men's event. But it did create a landmark model inside U.S. soccer. The USWNT had used its platform, success, and public support to reshape the economics of representing a national team. The next chapter arrives with another major opportunity. The United States will be a co-host of the 2031 Women's World Cup, giving the USWNT automatic entry into the tournament. Hosting changes everything. It brings home crowds, national attention, commercial opportunity, and intense pressure. For a program with 4 World Cup titles and 5 Olympic gold medals, the expectation will not simply be to participate. It will be to contend. By 2031, the team may look very different, with a new generation carrying the weight of past champions. The question will be whether the USWNT can combine its historic winning mentality with the innovation needed for a more competitive global game. The story of the United States women's national soccer team is ultimately the story of sustained excellence under constant scrutiny. It is a team that helped define women's international soccer, won more than any other, fought landmark battles off the field, and still faces the challenge of staying ahead. Its dominance was built through generations of players who turned expectation into fuel. Its recent setbacks show that the gap at the top is shrinking. And its future, especially with the 2031 World Cup on the horizon, will test whether a legendary program can keep reinventing itself. The USWNT is not just a team with a great past. It is a team still being measured against the standard it created. If you found this helpful, please like this video and subscribe for more explainers.